Yes, we have already gone through the introduction of Hibernate in our previous session. So now let's get into the hands-on practice of Hibernate. Okay, so before we go into the programming part, there are some files which you need to be downloaded. One, go to hibernate.org, go to Hibernate ORM, since we are dealing with Hibernate ORM. Inside Hibernate ORM, go to the latest stable version, whatever version that is. By the time I am recording the session, it is 5.5. If you are having more than that also, it's okay. Here you will be having a zip archive file. Okay, just go there and download the zip file. I've already downloaded it, so I'll directly go to the location where I have downloaded. Okay, so yep, here it is. So whatever I have downloaded my zip file, I've extracted over here. So here the main concentration is only on this lib file. Okay, just go to the lib file and go to the required file. So you have some jars over here. Okay, these jars are the important jars which we need to concentrate on. So this is one Hibernate loading. So I am using IntelliJ, but if you are using Eclipse, I think you already know how to add external jar files to the project. Just go to build path, libraries, external jars, and then add all your external jars. So inside the required folder, whatever the jar files are there, just add all these jar files into the build path. Okay. So IntelliJ, if you want to do it, just go to file. Inside file, you will have something called as project structure, libraries, add a plus, Java. So inside Java, search for your file. So I have it here inside lib, inside required. So these are my jar files. So I'll add all these jar files. Done. Okay. So all my jar files are added and I have applied it. And there is one other jar file which I need to add. That is my database connecting jar file. That will be my MySQL connector. So MySQL connector also, you can find it in the first link itself. Just type in MySQL connector on Google. The first link whichever you get, you will have the connector. Just go and download the jar file for it. Okay. Till now I think there are no doubts. So let me go here and let me even add my MySQL jar. So MySQL jar is also added and everything is done. If you go to external jars, you can see all the external jars which I have added over here. Okay. So,
Okay. Okay.
so with the help of Hibernate, we will be creating a simple complete operations. We'll try to create a complete CRUD operation within this. Okay. So now let me go to my source. Let me create a package and let this package and name it as entity. So the question is hibernate.entity. Okay, Hibernate is a separate package. Inside Hibernate, there is a package called entity. So now the question is, what do you mean by an entity? Entity means whichever Java object you want to convert it into a database object. That for that Java object, you will be giving an annotation called @entity. Okay, are we clear
Okay.
till this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so before
Yes,
going
sir.
to that, there is something else. One very much important thing is session factory and session. There are two things. Okay, session factory is the one which we required to create a session. So first you need to have session factory. If you have a session factory, only a session can be required. Okay, session factory is basically executed only once at the starting. Executed at the starting of the program, we executed. The reason why we are executing the starting of the program is it's a very heavy program and it takes a lot of time consuming is more. Okay, for these two reasons we execute session factory only once, that too at the starting of the program. So once we are having a session, this session is basically lightweighted, less consumption of time, and we can run it whenever we required. Okay, and the most important part is this is not a thread. Since it is not a thread, we don't deal it with objects. Got it? That is the difference between a session factory and a session.
Okay.
Okay, I hope till now you are clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now inside my entity, let me, okay, before going into entity, this is my complete project, right? Inside my source I need to create a XML file. This XML file basically is called as the configuration file. Okay, what is this configuration file? This configuration file will connect your database, Java and Hibernate. Okay, you need to first configure your application to Hibernate and the database. So for that I'll create a file. In Eclipse you directly have a .xml extension, but in uh, IntelliJ we don't have a XML direct XML configuration. So I'll create it, and the default name is hibernate.cfg.xml. So basically this is the default file name which we give for Hibernate configuration file. This is the normal practice and the recommended practice, so I suggest you people also to follow this. If you give another name also, it is not a problem, but this is the recommended one. Okay, I have created a file now. This is my XML file. Okay, inside this XML file I'm simply copying and pasting this particular code, and it is already telling me that it is a Hibernate version framework is detected. Okay, so let me go through this XML file once. So what is this file? Okay, you will get this file on online. Okay, there is nothing new over here. You simply go to Google, type Hibernate XML file for MySQL. You have a bunch of websites which will give you this file. Okay, whatever the details you have, you can directly copy it from here. Okay, so that is not a thing to worry. Now just let us go through the XML file once. Let us see what all are the things. Okay, so first one, this is an Hibernate configuration file. Inside the Hibernate configuration file, first a session factory is been activated. Okay, inside the session factory, what is the first property? The property is connection driver. Normally in our MySQL class, we used to write a MySQL complete program, right? Connection, myconnection.java. So that complete
Yes, sir.
myconnection.java file is been reduced to one line. Okay. With the configuration of the driver class, we are just directly giving it here com.mysql.ca.jdbc.driver. Okay, now over here we are giving a dot connection URL. So this will be my URL connection, the localhost one, JDBC MySQL one, and my project, my database name. Here my database name is project. It can be anything as per your thing. So the dialect. So that dialect over here is basically the one connecting MySQL and the Java. Okay, this Hibernate, we normally said that it is a database independent, means whether you write or whether you take any database, basically our Hibernate will not have any effect. The reason why it will not have any effect is because of the dialect. Okay, so this is the dialect, the latest dialect for Hibernate and MySQL. If you go to Google and suppose if you type something like Hibernate Oracle dialect, then you can see for Oracle any version you have this dialect. For Oracle version 9 you have this dialect. So the only thing you need to do is instead of this line you change it with your respective database. That is the only thing you do. At that time all the connections or all the changes or all the programs which you are making, it will automatically be redirected to that particular database. So you already know this connection.username, connection.password. Connection.pool size is basically not even required, so nothing to worry about this. It is there as a default. Connection.pool size is 3, so I'm just keeping it as 3. The number of times it will retry to connect, that is called as pool size. Okay, so now over here the current session context, so I am making it as a thread. Okay, now this show SQL, what is this show SQL and true, we will see once we go to the program, and we will see what is this also. For now what I'll do is I'll simply comment this out, we will see what it does later. Okay, now let me go to my hibernate.entity file, let me create a class and let this class name be app. So this will not be having any kind of, okay, instead of app I'll make it as users, because I want my table name as users, so I'll make it as users. So inside this users I'll create int id, or let me say user id, string username, string password, string first name, string last name. Okay, these are the properties of our user class. For this particular thing, let me create a table in my MySQL. Okay, so here I am telling to create a table, let the table name be users, and then let's start writing our values. So let this be user id, let me make it user underscore id, and this user underscore id is my primary key and it is auto incremented every time I write something. Okay, now so after this my next thing is username, let me extend this. Okay, yep. Okay, after username let me make it as password. After password we have our first name, first underscore name, next it is last underscore name. We have our values, this is our table. Okay, I am creating this with the help of the workbench. Then I am creating my apply, this will be the code which is my workbench giving me. Apply, done, done. Now if you go over here we have a table, this key over here will extend our table. Now if you see over here there are no values. Okay, I hope till now there is not a problem how to create a table. Yes, any problem on till now how to create a table on our workbench?
No, sir.
Okay, good. Now here we are in our Hibernate program. So this is the table, right? So this is our table which we created in our database. To understand that this is the table, we are telling our Hibernate that this is the entity. Okay, just note down of this package. This package is coming from persistence entity. Okay, So to make it more clear, I want to give the name of the table also. So I am giving it a @table and I am giving a name for this table. I am just giving the same name which I have given in my database. Okay. So inside this is the primary key. So to identify the primary key, I am giving the ID. Got it? So the next one is the column name. So for every variable, I'm just giving a column name so that there will not be any confusion. Even if you are not giving the column name also, Hibernate will try to understand it, but it may make some errors. We are not sure whether it will make it or not. To basically not have a benefit of a doubt, we will simply give the names. So this will be our username, and here this will be our password. Then this will be my first underscore name. Let me surround this with column name last underscore name. Okay, till now everything is clear, I'm assuming.
Clear,
Yes.
sir.
Good. Okay, now let me just go to the package. Let me create a class. Okay, what is this class? The class name is create. Okay, and I don't want this to be in the entity, I want this to be in the Hibernate. So I'll just move it to Hibernate package. Okay, so this will basically consist of a main method. So inside this main method, what should we need to have? So that is the question. We already got to know from our explanation in notes that first any Hibernate program should have a session factory. Then it should have a session. So first let me create a session factory. So let us say session factory. If you see here, I am importing it from org.hibernate and I'll name this as factory, which is equal to new. I need to configure my session factory. Okay, when you are configuring the session factory, just be careful, there are many configurations. Okay, configure from org.hibernate.cfg. So configuration will have a method called configure. You are configuring it from the configuration file dot xml. Okay, so till now I hope everyone is clear. After this, what we need to do is we are configuring everything is okay, but from which class do you want the entities to be present? We are having all the classes present in users.java. So always remember to add the annotated class. Say it as users.class. After everything is done, then you build your session factory. So this is a very important step. Okay, first you import your session factory, then you configure it with the help of a configure method from your XML file. After configuring your Hibernate, you will say from which class you must access its entities. After accessing its entities, you will build your session factory. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Now let me go to my session. Once my session factory is done, I'll go to my session. So session is equal to, there is nothing to new and all over here. We'll directly go to factory because session is basically given by the session factory, and we will simply get our current session. Okay, Now our session is ready. Now basically what we have to do is we have to try something and we have to get some data. So for that we will be creating a try block and we will be having a finally block. In this finally block, what I'll do is first I need to close this session after all the things are done. Then at the end I need to close my session factory. Okay, so this is very important because it may lead to garbage collection if not. So to reduce the minimum size of the program, we will close it after everything is done. So whether your program runs successfully or whether it will not run successfully, the one thing we need to do is we need to close the session and close the factory. So we'll put it in the finally block, because whether it is giving me any errors or whether the program is running successfully, the one thing my finally block does is it gets executed. So now inside my try block, what all should be there? First important, you need to create something. So create the object. Basically first we need to create the object of the entity class. After creating of the object, you must start a transaction. Okay, here transaction means nothing but a process. Okay, you must start a transaction. After starting a transaction, you must execute or run the transaction. I simply say run. After that, you must commit the transaction. So these are the 4 steps in Hibernate. Okay, this is the only thing you do. First thing is you need to create an object. So your object is basically user is equal to new user. But the problem over here is assume that you are giving some data. So to give some data, you need to have a constructor. So let me create a constructor over here. So let me go to generate a constructor. I don't want int id because int id is automatically generated. Done. So now we are having something. So after this, let me put on some getter and setter methods also. Let's see if it is that is needed or not. That is secondary. Let me put on all my getter and setter methods. And to retrieve the data and all, simply let me put on my toString method also. Okay, so now we'll go here. So here, what should I give? The first thing is username only. Okay, let me put new spelling properly. Now we'll go back over here. Okay, users, good. So username, I'll put password as password only. I'm giving the same data for first, and then let me go to last. So this will be my object for my class. Okay, now let me start a transaction. To start a transaction, we'll go to session dot, don't get too much tensed about it, just go to the begin transaction. Okay, after beginning the transaction, you will simply say session dot. So here what do you need to do? What do you need to do for this? This is the important part. Here basically you need to save the data. So search for something, save. Okay, you have an option called save or update. Directly you have an update option. You can simply put save. Okay, you can save the object, that is your users. Okay, when you save this users, what happens is automatically your object will be saved to database. After everything is done, you will say session dot get transaction dot commit. That's all. Your program is done. Now you need to do is run the create method, create class. Once your creation has started, done, 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 done. Now if you see over here, you have a line, right? Insert into user. This we didn't do. This is basically the SQL query. This SQL query is automatically given by our Hibernate. The reason why it is showing this is because of this line in our XML. Here we are given show SQL as true. Because of this line, we have our the query it has been given. Now let us go to my bench and run this. Now if you see over here, user ID is 1, username, password, first, last. Is that the same thing I have given over here? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So that's all. It will automatically give you everything. Got it?
Yes, sir.
That is the
Yes, sir.
beauty of Hibernate. You don't need to do anything, it will only do everything. So you may have a question, so we created our table over here. What is the use of Hibernate? Okay, I created the table just to show this. Let me drop this table. Okay, there is no table now. Even if I run this, you will get an error. Okay, the error is doesn't exist. Let's go to our XML file, and if you have a statement over here, okay, this statement basically will create as well as update. Okay, if you put only create, it will change every time you create it, it will, if you run a program, it will create a new table. But if you put it as update, it will first time it will create, and the next time it will update the data. Okay, now I have uncommented this. I have not even created the table over here. There is no table over here. Now I'll simply run the create method. Done. Now if you see over here, first it is creating the table with all these values. None of them is given by us. It is only creating everything. Then it is inserting into users. Now if you go to workbench and click on refresh all, now you can see that there is a table. So you see here, even the data is been added. Only problem with this kind of using is here the primary key, whatever key we have given, the auto incrementation we have to do it manually because Java doesn't know about the auto incrementation. For that also there is a way, but it gets too complicated, so I'll not go in that much. But this is what we do. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Now if you see, now once I refreshed, it is automatically giving me 1. So I'll go here into my create.java file. I'll change everything now. Okay, let me put it Monish itself. Then password, let it be password. First name, let it be Monish. Last name be PP. Now if I run this, since the given command is update inside our incrementation method, now if you see, it will automatically put to Monish PV password, username as Monish. There is no changes required. Everything is basically done by our Hibernate itself. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Let me copy this whole class instead of doing it again and again. Let's go to my Hibernate, create a new class, and let the class name be retrieve. Control C, Control V, Instead of create, let me make it retrieve. So this is basically retrieving data from our database. So for this, I don't need to give any inputs. So I must have a default constructor. So let me go here. Let me generate a default constructor with no values. We have a default constructor with no values. So let me simply delete everything. So I have a default constructor with no values because I'm not giving any input to add. Transaction begin is common, creating the object is common. Now I have to run the transaction. Before it was saving, but now it is retrieving. So basically I must get. So what should I get? I should get data from my user class, and basically I must provide the number, the serial number of which data I want. So I'll put it 2 over here. Means I must get the second row. After everything is done, after committing everything and all, I'll simply add this to users is equal to this. After committing everything, I'll simply write a print statement and put users, so that whatever I get from here, that is saved into users object, and I'm printing that object. Now let me run this retrieve. Retrieve is running. Look at here, we got our data. So when we write a program to retrieve, the only thing we did is we wrote get user.class, from user.class set get the second one. So but internally what Hibernate did is it wrote this complete command. Okay, it wrote this complete command and it gave me this answer. So ID second one, it was Monish, password first name, last name. That is the same thing we have over here. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now let me create another class over here. Here let the class name be update. Let me go to retrieve, copy this, go to update, paste it. Okay. So instead of retrieve, let me make this as update. So even when I am updating also, how do I update is the question. So first I am getting the data, I need to update this. So how do I update it? Whatever I get on users, I'll simply say users dot, I'll call upon my setter method. So whatever I want to set, I'll set it over here. So let me say that this is what my username I want it to be. Now I'll simply print this. So now what is happening? My username, basically it should get updated. Let's go here, run this. Username is not getting updated. What is happening? Let's go back over here. Set username. First I'm getting the session. After that, set username. Commit. I don't need this print statement. Let me check if there is any method over here for this. There is no set method or save method or update method. So basically it is the get method itself. Users dot class comma second one. Serialization is done. Once the serialization is done, go to set, and I need to set this, then comment this. Sorry, it was in retrieve. I need to run my update method. Okay, so updating is done. Go to my workbench. Now you see here there is an update. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Control A, Control C. create a new class. Let the class name be delete. Control A, Control B. Change the class name to delete. Here I am getting some data. After getting that, you search for an option called delete, or else you will get a direct option here itself. Begin transaction. After beginning the transaction, you go to select users dot class. You select which one you want to delete. After that, go to users is equal to this. Then you must delete this. The users dot. You'll have a method called delete. No. Let's go here. Let's search for a method called delete. Yes, you have a method called delete over here, and you will pass an object. So basically you need to configure your object. So users is equal to session dot get users dot class, and I want to delete my second one. Now session dot delete users. Done. Run the delete method. Done. Now go to your workbench, restart this. Now you see my second entry has been deleted. That's all. That is how simple Hibernate is. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
That's all
sir.
for today. That's all for today.